As we speak, these are the East Division standings. The Islanders lost in regulation time tonight in Buffalo, so they have 67 points. The Bruins won. They clinch. They're now in third with 68, just 3 behind the Capitals and Penguins. Pittsburgh lost to Philadelphia, so the Caps and Penguins tied atop the division. All 4 playoff teams are separated by 4 points, and the Rangers will remain below the cut line. As we welcome you into the Delta MSG studios, John Giannone and Steve Valiquette after a 6-3 loss to the Washington Capitals. And there's a certain finality to it that stings, Steve, when you chronicle everything that's happened with the Rangers through the first 52 games of the season, and especially the head-spinning quickness of it, right? 72 hours ago, we were sitting here saying the Rangers were 4 back of a playoff spot and facing the Islanders in the next 2. Now, 3 games later, they're 10 back, and their postseason berth is over.
Lessons learned, though, John, right? It goes to show you, anybody that has a collegiate student that goes through that first semester partying a little bit too much, late to class, missing class altogether, and then all of a sudden you wake up and it's the end of the semester and you've got Fs across the board. It gets too late, too early in the NHL. Just like the freshman student that doesn't behave properly, you can get behind and you can be great at what you do, but you're late. And that's what happened to this Rangers season. They just got behind the 8 ball early, and then, of course, problems were compounded internally with a few player decisions, moving on from some players, Panarin's absence for 9 games, and Zibanejad's cold streak. The goalies overall in this season have been outstanding, in my opinion, and a lot of these young players have really come along. I think this team's going to be absolutely nasty next season. I think they're going to take off because when you look at the way they've performed at 6-on-5, they've been very resilient in most games. They've come back after a loss. They've had an outstanding power play and penalty kill season. 5-on-5 in their own zone, they've been great. Off the rush, they need work. But there's way more to be excited about than there is to be concerned with going into the offseason. This is just what happened. And the reason why it happened is because the season got away from them early. So a young team that has to learn that lesson will be better for it next season.
Yeah, and when you consider especially normally an 82-game season, this year just a 56-game season, early losses compound the problem of having to come back. Plus, you played the same 7 teams over and over, so almost every night was a 4-point game, and then you find yourself behind in the standings, really hard to catch up. Not to mention the Boston Bruins have played unconscious hockey over the last 7 or 8 when the Rangers were trying to chase their heels. So the Rangers' playoff berth, their attempt at one, officially ends tonight on a night where they gave up the first 2 goals, and it looked for all the world that it was going to be another one of those struggle nights offensively. But then all of a sudden, the Rangers scored 3 in a 6.5-minute span, bridging the end of the first and the beginning of the second, and it started with a Mika Zibanejad goal with 2 minutes left in the first period.
I think it's a good example of when you look at the Rangers right now, their skill just shows up. When their habits are in check and they're not trying to overpass, their skill shows up. And as a broken record this season, we've seen a lot of Fox coming out of his own zone with the puck and the Rangers being able to get through the neutral zone. Now this shot from Zibanejad, this is an absurd stat. 5,433 shots from there this season. Across the league with only 98 goals.
Wow.
98. So I had said during the broadcast less than 2%, it's 1.8. And that's the off the rush on a zone entry, it's that shot. Righties are not supposed to go far side on goalies in the NHL that way, which is why I like the east to west play when it's available, but that's not to say that you don't take that shot when it's given to you, especially when you're playing a goaltender that looks a little bit shaky, and I thought Vanecek was shaky.
And I think the Rangers realized that as well, especially what we had seen before that 2-1 goal. And then early second period, 2.5 minutes in, Zibanejad hits the post on a power play, gets another opportunity, and cashes in.
Yeah, and another point, too, is on the power play, the skill shows up when there's options, and there was a lot of options in the house. In that home plate area, the Rangers had 3 passing options, and, I mean, they were zipping it around. They had a lot of confidence with puck movement and moving it quickly. And look, Char's out there, long stick. They've got a lot of people there tight to the net. They're trying to play that really tight system on a PK under Laviolette. A lot has changed after Reardon was relieved of his job last year. But I think it's really the availability of Zibanejad to be able to support and then get open again. And Fox in his foxhole, you know he's always going to be able to find those seams. He's shown that all season long. But the plays at the net here are because of the options. So Panarin can see Buchnevich, but hits Strome, which ultimately opens Zibanejad. And you can see the skill show up. And I think that when we close the book on the season and we really address the power play, we're going to say that the seam pass works when there are options in the house. When shots get to the net quickly, the Rangers are able to recover the puck, move it back for those options. It's not just standing around and stagnant. The Rangers were moving on the power play.
That was Mika Zibanejad's 10th power play goal. He's the first Ranger to score 10 power play goals in 4 straight seasons since Adam Graves did it 21 years ago. So a good accomplishment on a shortened season for Mika Zibanejad. Here are his reactions to the Rangers' 6-3 loss.
Hey Mika, solid second period for your team. Where did you feel like it went wrong in the third?
I don't know. It was they got that 4-3 goal, and you know, we tried to battle back, but just couldn't find a way to do that tonight.
Next question comes from Dan Rosen. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, Mika, you know it's final now that you guys will not be going to the playoffs. I mean, the math wasn't in your favor going into the game either, obviously. Just curious, what emotions do you feel when you know that you have officially been eliminated from playoff contention versus when you know you still have, you know, even a puncher's chance?
I mean, like you said, the odds of us making it after the two games against the Islanders weren't big, for sure not in our favor, but you know, it's a tough situation, and then you have some guys gone as well, and you're just trying to battle through it and try to do the best and see how far that takes you in a situation like that. And I thought we battled, but they won the game.
Next question comes from Vince Mercogliano. Vince, go ahead. Hey Mika, I know you guys still have 3 games to play, but like Dan was just saying, now that it's official, you won't be going to the playoffs. I mean, what are your general feelings on the season? What you guys need to do better? Like, how much is this going to motivate you guys, and what it needs to be the focus moving forward to make sure that next year is a different story?
I mean, we have still 3 games to play, and you know, we have to go out there. And it's going to be a good challenge every night, and it's, you know, we want to end on some sort of high note here, and have something to hopefully build off of, and try to end the season and you know, in some good ways, but we're just going to have to battle through this.
Next question comes from Rick Carpinello. Carpy, go ahead.
Hey Mika, do you have any opinion on what happened with Wilson and Panarin?
I don't know. I figured we should have some more respect for the game and for the players, and yeah, I don't even know. I don't honestly know where to start. It's just horrible. There's zero respect, and I don't know why I'm surprised, but yeah, it's just horrible.
And that is the lingering storyline from tonight, the incident involving Tom Wilson and the Rangers at the 7:40 mark of the second period. Tom Wilson was handed 14 minutes in penalties, 2 minors for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct off a scrum at the net with the Rangers leading 3-2. And it was yet another incident. Artemi Panarin was injured during the scrum, didn't play in the third period. Another player whose safety was impacted by a player for whom this is way too common a theme.
The NHL has to do something because it can't be reactive after somebody is seriously injured. And hopefully Panarin's okay, and Buchnevich was okay, we know that. But he has a stick wrapped around his neck, and he's punching him from behind. He's defenseless. Now, this is where the Rangers are trying to help the health of one of their teammates, but then you've got Panarin here with his helmet off, and he's getting ragdolled by a guy that's got 100 pounds on him, and then he acts like that, you know? And look, I was texting with Colt Knorr, And I was like, Orzi, we need you on Wednesday, man. Seriously, this is what he says back. He goes, Wilson would not go near me when I played against him. Now he's a hero with nobody to answer to, right? That's Colton Orr. Wilson would not have done anything of what she did out there if Colton Orr was on the ice, on the bench, or in the press box. If he was anywhere near the NHL right now, he wouldn't have done anything. That's what, on a night that we're celebrating hockey, is for everybody. You know what it's not for? It's not for bullies. It's not. You know, and that's bully behavior that's also dangerous and senseless. So for every reason, this guy has to sit down again and try and get rehabilitation.
If there's one encouraging thing, it's that Artemi Panarin's injury was listed as lower body. He didn't have a helmet on when he got flipped by Wilson, so that is at least, maybe you cross your fingers, it wasn't the head that was involved in the reason why Panarin was injured. But quickly, if you're the NHL, what suspension do you give to a guy who had a 7-game suspension just 2 months ago?
Man, the year.
For that?
Yeah. The year, man, like, what's it going to take? Does somebody really have to have, do you want somebody to have a broken neck? Back? Oh, come on, man. This guy is an idiot. He's an idiot. I don't know if I can say it on TV.
You just did.
But you can't do that. I mean, it's that dangerous, right, John? Like, hockey, there's a respect in this game and a code. When somebody is actually getting in a fight, both players know there's a fight taking place. There's an exchange. Do you want to go? Yes, we go. Hockey's not the best part of this sport, but sometimes there's an element of it that's necessary. But when you go to the ice, you'll see hockey players stop the opponent's head from hitting the ice. Did that look like what he was going to do out there?
Not even close, right? It's hard to expect Tom Wilson to abide by unwritten rules when he struggles with the written rules of the NHL, and we've seen that throughout his career.